Hello, we're back.
All right. Well, we can hear you. So I guess
Let me see if we can we do it on the phone? I think we can
Try.
yeah. It's crazy.
Your camera's not on.
My camera's not on. Maybe I can go to settings. Let me see. Never done this. Let me see. Camera. It's on.
Yeah, it says it's on last desktop.
It is on.
Do camera device settings.
Integrated camera.
It's there. You got one.
Oh, right here, maybe. I'm gonna download it on my phone. Let's see. I know my phone works all the time.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
It's Caitlin. I'm in.
Okay. Okay.
Jessica tried to log in on through her phone so that we have a camera because we don't know how to get the camera to work on the laptop. Even though it says it's on.
Just a thought, when you went out and went back in to try to get the camera going, did you shut the computer off and restart it?
No.
Yes, as this occasionally happens on my laptop, and that usually brings it back. I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but
Okay.
Recording in progress.
So you got to turn off the laptop.
Not here works. It
Doesn't
doesn't.
it work on my phone?
There you are.
There you are. Yes, we see you now.
hello.
Hello. Hi, guys.
yeah, there's a lot of feedback.
Yep. We had to turn off the laptop.
Okay, very good. All right, so it's 7:34. Welcome to the October 15th, 2024 meeting of the Rockland Zoning Board of Appeals. All board members are participating remotely. These board members are Mr. Robert Baker Sr., Mr. Robert Baker Jr., Stephen Galley, and myself, Acting Chair Greg Tansey. Please be advised that this hearing is being recorded by both audio and video media via Zoom. All public participants will get a chance to be heard at the appropriate time. Please direct your questions through the chair and identify yourself, your name and your address prior to presenting your questions. At this point in time, I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And Mr. Robert Baker Sr., Mr. Robert Baker Jr., and seconded by Mr. Robert Baker Sr. At this point in time, I'd like to take a roll call vote to open. Mr. Robert Baker Sr.,
Yes.
Mr. Robert Baker Jr.,
Yes.
Mr. Stephen Galley,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Okay, so moving right along. At this point, first on the agenda will be 349 Union Street. I'm just going to read in the advertisement. So the remotely conducted public hearing will be held by the Rockland Zoning Board of Appeals on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. on the petition submitted by Anita Maria's Breakfast and Lunch, Inc., 349 Union Street, Rockland, Mass., for a special permit pursuant to Section 415-13(3)B, eating and/or drinking establishments where alcoholic beverages are served, and Section 89, special permits to allow applicant to offer beer, wine, and mixed drinks, brunch and breakfast style cocktails to dine-in customers, with Jessica Duran, the owner of the business, serving as manager of the licensed premises. The premises is known and numbered as 349 Union Street, Rockland, Mass. The property is located in a B1 Business 1 zoning district, Section 41513 of the bylaws, and is further identified as Lot 223, Map 39, on the Rockland Assessors Maps. The owner of the property is Ben Caitlin, LLC, Ben Tran, and Caitlin Helan, 633 Adams Street, Milton, Mass. Okay, so would the applicant like to present their petition?
Hi, my name is Kim Wachula DeMello. I'm with KBS and I'm helping Jessica apply and do whatever she needs to do for the liquor license. This is Elaine. She works here in the restaurant, so she knows the ins and outs of everything. And then this is Jessica here. She's a little shy. So what she's trying to do is to get a liquor license so that she can offer alcoholic beverages with breakfast or brunch or lunch, like a mimosa or a Bloody Mary. Right now they're open Tuesday to Sunday from 7 to 3, and they're going to use Monday, their day closed, for like hosting events. So the holiday season is coming up. I'm not sure if it will all happen before holiday season, but future. So like on Mondays to do from like an 8 to 12 or 10 to 2, to have like tea clubs come in, or some of the small groups here in Rockland or in Plymouth County, to invite them to host some of their events here, so that they could have set up like a brunch or a breakfast and have alcoholic beverages with food here. There wouldn't be any place in the facility where they would come in and just sit down and drink and leave. Everything here would be served with food and alcoholic beverage. Is that the gist of it, girls?
Yeah, yeah. You have to have food. You just can't order a drink.
All right. So Mr. Baker Senior, do you have any questions?
What would your hours be for serving the alcohol?
Well, we're open Tuesday through Sunday from 7 to 3. So those are the hours that you can order.
Do you know what the state laws are on serving alcohol, the hours?
I don't.
No, I don't know
that.
Because I'm not sure either. But that would be a question that we would need answered. I think the other one would be, you on your question 13 on your application, it says off-hour deliveries can take place through the front door. What kind of deliveries are you talking about?
If that's the day that they're going to have deliveries of food or alcohol, instead of driving around the back, that they would come in through the front, because the facility is not open on Monday.
Right, but what would the hours be of that deliveries?
Oh, what do you guys hear on Mondays if you take deliveries?
If you take deliveries, 7.
7 to noon?
Yeah, 7 to noon.
7 to noon, 7 to 1.
7 to 1.
Okay. The problem I have with that is you drive down Union Street sometimes and there's trailer trucks double parked delivering to the other restaurants and businesses along the street.
Mhm.
And it's a kind of a traffic hazard.
You're talking about on Union Street?
Yes.
Yeah, but the door that they could come in is through the back on Webster Street. Because that's where the food deliveries come in.
Yeah, we can use the back door too.
But if you're bringing them through the front door on your off hours, where are the truck gonna park? Are they gonna park out back and come around the front?
Well, they could park out back and just come through the back door.
Right. That's why I'm questioning on 13, it says deliveries can be taking place through the front door if needed.
Yeah, it's an option.
Yeah, it's an option, but there's a place if you come to the back door where the truck can back right up to the door. It wouldn't have to be on the street.
I understand that. But in your response to question 13, off-hour deliveries can be taken place through the front door if needed. So
So,
I'm asking if they're gonna go through the front door, are they gonna stop on Union Street to make the deliveries? Or are they gonna go out back, park the truck, and then bring the deliveries through the front door?
if the traffic is a concern, then we can definitely make the deliveries through the back door as the food, you know, we get the Cisco trucks parked in the back on Webster Street. Everything can be delivered through the back door, and we can just make sure that we're here to, you know, assist with the delivery.
Well, the other thing is the fire station is right across the street too. And if you got a trailer truck double parked out there, and God forbid they have to go out, it's gonna be a traffic jam.
Yeah, but I would think that the drivers would know enough not to do that with the fire station.
No, but
You work up on Union Street, and if you get up there, sometimes there's UPS trucks double parked, there's trailer trucks making deliveries to the other businesses, and they're parked out in the travel lane.
So we don't have to make any deliveries through the front door. We can have everything delivered off of Webster Street.
That would be great. I
Yep.
mean,
that.
and then, in the future, would you be looking for longer hours? If the beer and wine and alcohol goes good, would you be doing
That's something that we,
afternoon brunches or, you know,
that's something that we will be planning in the future once we settle, you know, with the first plan. And that it's something that we are, you know,
Once it gets established.
once it gets established with the first plan,
Yeah.
yes, we were thinking about doing longer hours, mainly like from Thursday till Sunday. Like not the full week, but like mainly till Sundays will be the plan.
that's all I have right now, Greg.
Mr. Baker Jr.?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're currently not licensed. Is that correct?
No,
Okay.
Correct.
The next thing I have to offer is information rather than a question. I looked up a couple of sources online regarding the earliest time that alcohol may be served in a pouring establishment. And what I was able to find, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. is the earliest.
8 a.m.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we are taking notes on that already.
Yep.
So
And at this point, Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Baker. Mr. Galley?
Hi, yeah, I just want to clarify, your current hours are Tuesday through Sunday, 7 to 3?
Right.
mhm.
Okay, and then you were thinking about making Mondays like an event day, you know, as opposed to regular business hours.
Correct.
Okay, so you would want basically 7 days a week. If it had to be 8 to 3 because of the limitations, but 7 to 3 if it was your regular, you know, your business hours, or 8 to 3 if that was what was permitted. That's what you'd actually be looking for, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, good. I just want to clarify that because splitting hairs, I might as well just be careful before we get too far.
Okay.
And it's not, I don't think it's truly critical, but I think you said you're going to be offering like breakfast cocktails, like brunch type stuff, like, you know,
Like-
mixed drinks type things.
Yes,
Okay. I think that's common for, like, I think Stevie G's did something like that.
yeah.
So, okay.
Amy's and Whitman used to do the same thing, you know, like the
Okay.
brunch, the mimosas and the Bloody Marys.
Okay.
side room
Right.
when they were around.
Okay. And you already said that obviously it would have to, you already were prepared to say food must be consumed at the same time people purchase alcohol anyway. So that was a question I was double checking and you already answered it. So I don't have another question at this time.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, so how long have you been in business?
We took over in 2021, July 2021. That's when we reopened.
You've been there since July of 2021.
Right.
Yes.
Are you tip certified, Jessica?
We are all. Yeah, my husband,
Okay.
he's one of the managers. I am, and 3 other girls are already.
So you haven't been serving alcohol
No,
for how many years?
Well, since they've owned it for 3 years, we haven't served alcohol at all.
Okay.
But I don't think alcohol was ever served here before
Yeah.
the original
before the
owners.
original,
Yeah.
no.
No,
Mhm.
there's never been alcohol sold here.
So okay, so how long has it been since you've been at an establishment where you were actively, serving alcohol?
Oh, so when was the last job you were a bartender at where you were preparing drinks?
For
Jessica's never prepared drinks before.
drinks.
So
We
it's
will
gonna,
get trained. We
yeah.
will get trained. We're looking to have someone to train us, There is a lot of people that train, of course, gotta get prepared for that, but I'm not looking into that until we get the okay from the state, I don't wanna go and plan all these things, but not until I have the yes. We are gonna be prepared. My staff will be prepared. It's something that even with the floor plan, we're gonna have to make a lot of changes here to make that possible. So before we do anything and we start the liquor and the brunch cocktails, that's something that I'm going to have my staff, also myself, trained and go
Ready
from
to go.
there and ready to go. Make sure everything is organized.
Now, the new floor plan, I saw that that you had submitted a floor plan with your application. Is that the new floor plan that Mr. Rubel had requested?
So-
No, the floor plan, I think that was submitted with the permit was the one that for the load occupancy. I don't think
Yeah.
it was the new design of the layout. That still has to come up to to the building inspector for his approval on how they want to lay out in here. The plan
Okay.
you guys have is exactly how the place is set up right now. We had an architect come in and do that.
Is the load gonna be the occupancy load gonna differ?
Nope, it's gonna be exactly the same.
So you're just kind of moving the seating around and
Yeah.
stuff like
So
that.
right now we have 2 long counters, as shown at the load occupancy. The plan is just to get rid of those counters and just add more tables and just leave like one single counter that can fit like 7 to 8
Bar
seats,
stools.
bar stools. And we just want to make sure we get more tables around and remove this
This is from 1974.
1974 counters that has been here.
The Brady Bunch.
So you got to be doing some renovation.
We're gonna do, yep, exactly. We're gonna be doing some renovations. No matter what, if we get the liquor license or not, we are gonna do the renovations inside just because it's outdated. We do need some, we want to make sure the place looks updated now. We already bought a lot of stuff. We have some booths coming soon, chairs, and we're gonna paint. We're just gonna do some cosmetic work at inside the restaurant.
And right now, parking, where do your patrons park?
They park out front and sometimes they park behind the restaurant. A lot of people park back there too if it's full out front.
So you have parking out back that you have legal rights to?
I believe that a lot of people, like, from the businesses that when we first opened back in 2021, what was mentioned to me is that we can park there because most of their customers park in our spot. So some people park in our spot, and I guess everybody shares parking lot here. There's no designated. Everybody like that. People from Mineros, clients, they park in my spot. Whenever there is park is available, just people.
Yeah, some people park on Pacific Street.
Yeah, I park on Webster and walk up.
Yeah, some people park between, I think it's the karate place and the liquor store, that parking lot there, and walk over.
Okay, all right. Are there any other questions from the board?
I just had one other piece of information. I had neglected to remember that Sunday was going to be apparently a day of business for you.
Right.
Yeah, and the minimum or the earliest that alcohol can be served on a Sunday apparently is 10 a.m.
Okay.
So Sunday is 10.
And the other days are 8.
And until what time on Sundays?
10 to 10.
10 to 10.
Close at 3.
Okay. We close
Yeah,
at
they close at 3. They're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think on the other days it's 2 a.m. So that's why I didn't mention.
Oh,
Planning on closing far in advance of that. So
that's bedtime.
Well, the only other thing is, we got a thing from Allison, or email. And Tom Rubel has requested an updated occupancy for this restaurant as they are modifying the interior of the space.
Yep.
Yep.
So they will need to do a site plan for Tom.
Yeah, the guy, the drawing for the liquor license, the same architect is gonna do another drawing for the renovations to bring up to the town hall.
I have one ready. Just need him to review it.
Uh-huh.
I have one ready, but I just have to send.
Just a quick questions. Going back to your hours, just so that I understand, are you're going to be open 7 days a week? I would imagine.
Well, the Tuesday to Sunday for sure. Mondays, they're gonna use for hosting events. So, that's gonna be iffy. So they've got to actually market it and get it out there so that they can host events on Mondays. It's, it's all gonna be hit or miss to see how it's gonna happen, how it's all gonna pan out. But that's the intentions, probably to be open for like 5 hours on a Monday. So it gives them the time to prep, cook, host the people, and then clean up once they leave.
Okay, so on an event Monday, do you envision that starting at 8 or, from 8 to 1 or something like that?
It's probably, we're probably going to push from like maybe 9 to 1 or 8 to 12 to try to do a breakfast thing with the people so that it's because Breeze is breakfast.
All right. I just wanted to clarify that. If there are not any other questions from the board at this point, I'd like to open up the public hearing to the public. If there's anybody from the public who wants to speak against this petition, please state your name and address. Is there any member of the public that wants to speak in favor of this petition? Okay. All right. Hearing none.
Motion to close the public hearing.
second.
Do we want to? Okay. Yeah. All right. We've got a motion to close the public hearing and a second. All in favor of closing the open hearing portion of this public hearing? Mr. Baker Sr.,
Yes.
Mr. Baker Jr.,
Yes.
Mr. Galley,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So the public hearing portion of this meeting has been closed. We will deliberate on this petition tonight. You're welcome to stay. If you so desire to hear the outcome of it. So, all right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the going to read in the public hearing for the next application. A remotely conducted public hearing will be held by the Rockland Board of Appeals on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024 at 7:35 p.m. on the petition submitted by Anne Marie Bollmiller, 28 Pine Haven Circle, Rockland, Massachusetts, for variance pursuant to section 415 -22 building lot regulations, section 415-28 frontage requirements, and section 89.1 zoning variances to allow the applicant to add an attached one-car single-story 16.5-foot by 30-foot garage, which would be 40.1 feet from the rear property line and 19.6 feet from the side property line, and to replace the current entry stairs and landing with a porch 5 feet by 14.8 feet, which would be 22.4 feet from the front property line at the premises known as and numbered 28 Pine Haven Circle, Rockland, Mass. The property is located in the R2 Resident Zoning District, section 415-9 of the bylaws, and is further identified as Lot 27, Map 1 on the Rockland Assessors Maps. The owner of the property is Anne Marie Bollmiller, 28 Pine Haven Circle, Rockland, Massachusetts. So it's my understanding that the applicant has asked for a continuance.
No,
No, that's the next
No?
one.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
So at this point, I would like to allow the applicant to
Greg,
present their case. Yes.
motion to open the public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Second.
Second. All right. Roll call vote. Mr. Baker Jr.,
Yes.
Mr. Baker Sr.,
Yes.
Mr. Galley,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Okay, at this point, you may present your application.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Anne Marie Bollmiller, and I do reside at 28 Pine Haven Circle. And as Mr. Tansey mentioned, I'm trying to have a single-story, single-car garage added to my home. It does extend a little bit closer to the property lines than the current setbacks. And then I'm also trying to change the front entryway to make it a little bit larger and just safer. As I get a little older, I'm hoping to be able to stay in place. So I'm trying to make some changes so that life will be easier as things go forward.
Okay. Mr. Baker Sr., do you have any questions?
On your plan here, it says, it's 40.1 from the rear of the building, but how far is it from the left side looking towards the back? Is that 40.1 too?
So it's 40.1 feet from the back property line.
On the right side. On the left side, it looks like it's a little bit further this. towards the shed, from the corner to the shed.
I don't have that particular number. It looked like a straight line to me.
That's all I have, Greg.
Mr. Baker Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Good
How are
evening.
you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Could you just do me a favor and summarize side, back, front, how short you are on each of those?
So for the garage, if the setback is 50 feet, I believe I'm about 10 feet.
Okay,
As far as the side goes, I believe that's not a concern.
okay, so you're saying you're still within the requirements on the sides?
That's my understanding.
Okay,
And then on the porch, it's about 3.5 feet.
okay.
So I'm looking at, if the setback, I believe, is 25 feet, and I'm only gonna be 22.4 feet, so about 3.5 feet into
Thank
that
you.
back.
Will the garage have an interior entrance to the house?
Yes.
Okay. I have nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Galley.
I don't have any questions right at this time. Thank you.
Okay. So, the side yard, it says, the required is 15, existing 9.6, 9.6, 19.6.
19.6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. I see where they're going. So it's 35. So you're not increasing the nonconformity off the side yard setback.
Correct.
It's required that it's 15. Actually, you can reduce it to 12, I guess, because of you're below 110 feet on frontage. But that's moot because you're 19.6 feet off the line. You're 9.6 on the existing, but you're not increasing that nonconformity. So, yeah, your only relief that you're asking for is off the rear setback. And just looking at your lot area, yeah, you've got 10,000 square feet of lot area. So it's a relatively small lot. You're not conforming anyway as it is in the rear yard. And that 50 foot is a tough setback to maintain. It really wasn't intended for 10,000 square foot lots. This lot predates our current zoning. I know that in the past, the board has taken that into consideration. Is there any other any board members have any other questions that they would like to?
No.
No.
So at this point, I'd like to open it up to the public. Is there any member of the public that would like to speak against this application? Hearing none, any member of the public who would like to speak in favor of this application? Okay, hearing none. Well, if there aren't any more questions, like to
Motion to
entertain a
close the
motion.
hearing.
Okay, motion made. Anybody second it?
Second,
Second by Mr. Galley. Roll call vote to close. Mr. Galley,
yes.
Mr. Baker Senior,
Yes,
Mr. Baker Junior.
Yes.
I'm a yes. All right, so the open portion hearing of this meeting has been closed. We'll deliberate on this application tonight. You're welcome to stay if you want to hear the outcome of that vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, all right, so do you want to take a roll call vote to open the public hearing for the petition at 57 School Street?
motion.
Motion made. Any second?
Second,
Second by Mr. Galley. Roll call vote. Mr. Galley,
yes.
Mr. Baker Senior,
Yes.
Mr. Baker Junior,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Okay, so this is the public hearing. Remotely conducted public hearing will be held by the Rockland Zoning Board of Appeals on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024 at 8:40 p.m. on the petition submitted by Eric and Lisa Urtia, 57 School Street, Rockland, Mass. For a variance pursuant to section 415-22 building and lot regulations and section 89.1 zoning variances to allow the applicant to add an attached one-car garage with additional living area above consisting of 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, game room, bar area, stairwell plus landings, built to match existing architecture. Relief sought is 4.03 rear variance and 6.56 feet west side variance. The premises known and numbered as 57 School Street, Rockland, Mass. The property is located in the R4 Residence Zoning District, section 41511 of the zoning bylaw, and is further identified as lot 148, map 40 of the Rockland Assessors Maps. The owner of the property are Eric and Lisa Urtia, 57 School Street, Rockland, Mass. Okay, so this is the petition application where the applicant has requested a continuance. They requested the continuance because they would like this to be heard by a full member board.
Greg, before you do that, you have to correct yourself because you said 8:40 was the time for the public hearing. It's
I'm sorry, 7:40 p.m.
just clerical.
Yeah. So, yeah, I correct that. If I meant 7:40.
Oh, because it was printed 8:40 by accident.
No,
He read it straight.
40, it's printed as 7:40.
Yeah, but in the physical description, he read it straight. In the paragraph, he read it straight at 8:40. It was a typo in the announcement.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's fine. I appreciate that, Mr. Baker Senior. So yes, it is 7:40.
Yeah.
So
I would make a motion to continue the public hearing for 28 Pine Haven Circle. Oh, no,
57 School Street.
School Street, yes,
57.
to our next available meeting. Yeah, when would that be?
November 12th,
Second.
right?
We can do it November 12th, yes, 7:45.
Is that Veterans Day?
No, it's the day after.
Yeah, okay. All right. That'll be my motion.
Okay,
Second.
any
For November
second?
12th.
Bacon
Mr.
Senior Junior.
Mr. Baker Jr. will second it. Okay. All in favor, roll call vote to continue to November 12th. Mr. Baker Jr.,
Yes.
Mr. Baker Senior,
Yes,
Mr. Galley,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Okay. So I guess we'll take a roll call vote to close this portion
no,
of
we
the.
can't close it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. So,
You gotta take a roll call vote to, well, we did that, to continue. So the meeting will stay open.
right. So any non-deliberative announcements and scheduling?
No, nothing.
Items not reasonably anticipated to extend the law. Okay. So at this point, we should deliberate on the first petition, which was 349 Union Street, to allow the service of beer, wine, and some mixed breakfast drinks. Any discussions?
Just a question, Mr. Chairman. The nature of what can be served, beer, wine, and alcohol versus beer, wine, and mixed breakfast drinks, is that ultimately up to the determination of the Board of Selectmen?
I would believe so. I mean, I don't think they're going to be serving Boilermakers at 8:05 in the morning. But I suppose if they did, it's safer than having somebody serving them at 12:59 in the morning.
Yeah, I was just thinking of it in terms of enforcement, how the distinction would be made.
They would probably give them a full liquor license. You know, what they do with it is up to basically their marketing. You know, their line of mixed drinks is going to cater to a whole different customer than, say, the Banner or some other restaurant that's on Union Street. And the ultimate final say is going to be with the select board. So we do have some conditions that we should probably discuss. Some typical conditions. I guess the name of the liquor license is going to be in the name of the petitioner. And beverages are to be consumed on the premises. Do we want to have the applicant come back to the ZBA if there's if there's a change in ownership, they have to come back to the ZBA.
Right.
Establish hours. So I guess it's going to be Tuesday through Saturday. It appeared to be between
7 and 3, I believe she said.
well, no, it'd have to be 8 and 3 if they're gonna serve alcohol.
Well, they wouldn't be able to serve alcohol until 8 o'clock,
Right.
but they could still have breakfast and stuff at 7 in the morning.
But
All right.
we're-
Have to keep the liquor.
what are we conditioning? The hours of service of alcohol or their hours of operation?
At this
The
point, hours of operation, but we should put in there that hours of serving alcohol
Would be 8
would
to
be
3.
limited to 8. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I mean, I suppose you could have
8.
somebody come in at 7 and, they could order a mimosa or something and they'd have to say, no, you'll have to wait till 8. I don't know. It's kind of, that gets kind of messy though.
Well,
Yes, Mr.
we could
Galvin.
have a put,
I was just wondering if we could say they can only do it just from within the hours of 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Law permitting or something to that effect of, state law permitting. If it's a state law that determines 8 o'clock is the earliest they can serve.
It is.
Okay.
How
So
about this? Since because I got those hours on a non-official site,
yep.
how about something to the effect that the hours of service of beer, wine, and alcohol shall be in accordance with applicable state law?
that sound.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That'll do a couple of things, just in case I was looking at bad information. And also, if those hours or the law should change, they wouldn't necessarily have to come back before us to get an adjustment in their licensure.
And I don't remember when Stevie G's expanded their hours to dinner for a while. Did they have to get expanded alcohol hours, or did they already have it and they could just do it? Does anyone remember that?
I don't remember the details.
They had, I believe they had to go before the Board of Selectmen for a change in, to change the license hours of operation.
Okay, so we could specify their current operating hours plus within state law, and we cover that basis.
Right.
Okay. We won't have to worry about dinner service if they go to that or later.
Right.
Okay. Or
Can-
earlier
can-
breakfast
can-
service even.
Can I tune up that language a little bit, Deb?
Yes,
In accordance with the applicable laws and regulations of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
In the town of Rockland bylaws.
Well, that part would be up to the Board of Selectmen, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but if it's in there,
Yeah, I mean,
then
yeah,
it's a condition.
that's fine.
got it.
Thank you.
The only other question that I had was, there's only one bathroom. With them serving alcohol, I don't know if the Board of Health would want another bathroom. The bathroom in there now is handicapped accessible. But if they're serving alcohol, I don't know what the Board of Health rules and regulations are for how many restrooms an establishment has to have.
Does it vary if alcohol is being served versus not, or is it based on
Yes.
seating capacity?
I'm not sure on that one.
Well, they did say they're going to renovate the interior of that.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's going to include a second bathroom or not. It probably should.
I understand you're saying it's a Board of Health question, but don't you think Tom Rubel would have been aware of a similar concern? Like he might have put it as a suggestion? What do you think? Thank you, Sally.
We, well, we can put it in as a condition.
Yeah, well.
We could put in that they have to check with the Board of Health on the number of bathrooms.
Well, if they have to present a site plan to Tom and there is not the requisite number of bathrooms, isn't that something he'd point out to them?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I don't think we need to address it.
Okay,
What if we just put in there that, all floor plan renovations shall conform to the local, um,
All the
building code and,
rules and regulations.
yeah, and Massachusetts building code regulations.
Yeah.
Something of that, and then we're covered. If they require a second bathroom, then they'll have to work that into their approved plan.
Right. The
Yeah.
only other thing is, do we want to do a 1-year review like we've done with others?
Yeah, I don't, well, we can talk about that. I'm not quite there yet. I was gonna say maybe the next condition that the manager and all the employees of the establishment must be tip certified. And they must be provided to the board, the select board, as part of their approval.
Yeah.
And that's consistent what we've done in the past.
Mhm.
Uh,
1, 2. Three, 4. There's 4 people already tip certified.
Yeah.
It came in the packet. They completed the training on 8/27.
okay. Um, we also had a condition on other establishments. Not sure I I understand the gist, but the condition went the name on the common victicular license to expose, keep for sale, and to sell wine and malt beverages to be consumed on the premises shall read, I don't know, space bistro. I don't understand that condition, but I think what we want to do is make sure that all the alcohol will be consumed on the premises. And I guess,
We can put a condition that there's no takeout of alcoholic beverages.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and they already wanted that
Would that
anyway.
cover it, Bob?
I'm sorry?
Would that cover it? No takeout of any alcoholic beverages?
Yeah, you could do it that way, or you could say any alcoholic beverages served shall be consumed on the premises.
Yeah. Because they do takeout breakfast and stuff there.
Yeah.
So we just gotta cover our butt just so we don't start seeing 6-pack going out the front door.
All right, the next condition, do we want to review this special permit in 1 year? Do you think we have
Mr.
to?
Chairman, before we do that, just possibly a couple of more substantive conditions.
Sure.
And I know they said that they were gonna do away with the request that deliveries be made in the front. But can we make it a condition that no delivery shall be made through the front door?
Sure. All right, why don't we make that the next condition?
Yeah.
No
And-
delivery.
No deliveries through the front door and no delivery trucks parking on Union Street at all, at any time.
Parking or standing?
Right. Sometimes in the morning, it's a nightmare up there with the trucks delivering to all the different, there's a Coke truck down by the Goddard Ave, and there's a food truck on one side of Union Street and on the other side of Union Street. And then the UPS guy pulls up. And it seems to be all the time when all the buses and parents are going to school. So I think we gotta restrict the no truck parking on there for deliveries.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
because we do have the fire station right there too.
Right. All right. And so, do we want to review the special permit in 1 year? Do you think we have to?
Is there a way to put a condition that if someone were to report a violation, that's when we'd have to review? Rather than have to have a review?
Yeah, we can condition it however we want.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mr. Baker Jr.?
What's the practice been that there be a review only if there are complaints or problems, or
I
just
think we've,
schedule?
I think we've done that in the past.
We did it to the banner.
Yeah, I think that's a lot more,
They just came
I think
back.
it's more appropriate to do it that way, but bureaucratically, I think it's easier to do it that way as well. That way you're not worrying about who has to notify whom about when there should be. And if you recall, that became an issue that in one instance, the applicant didn't know that the burden was on them to notify whatever the department was to request a review by us. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I think Steve's suggestion is the best one.
Yeah, and we've done that in the past. So,
And I guess just model it on the banner language then.
okay.
Well, no, we had them come back for a review. No matter what.
So if we receive one complaint, they have
One-
to come back in a year to
One complaint within the first year, they'll have to come back for this is, I don't want to say hearing, but
You can just say review, that's all.
a review. Yeah.
So zoning wouldn't necessarily know if there were complaints received.
Well, and typically, Deb, is it complaints directed to, say, the building department, the Board of Health, the police department?
Yes, I believe any complaints would be referred back to the zoning enforcement officer, and if he has an issue, he would recommend that they come back to the board. Or tell them they have to come back to the board for modification.
So let's say somebody made a complaint about the establishment to the police department. How would Tom necessarily find out about that, or is it just their practice to refer it to him?
I believe depending on the nature of the complaint, the police department would act on it and also notify Tom.
Okay.
Deb, when you write up all these conditions, could you outline the one about the truck parking on Union Street?
Yes,
And the copy to the police station,
yes,
just so they know that
Yeah.
okay,
that is a condition.
yes, I will.
So we don't want to be over bureaucratic, but we wanted to make it work. What is the most favored way of doing it so we're not creating a burden for the applicant and the board? An unnecessary burden. Or we miss our chance to, we miss something. I don't want to miss it,
Well, I think Bob said it right, is if there is a complaint, and Deb said too, that it usually will go to the zoning enforcement officer.
Mhm.
And if he feels that there should be a review of that or a public hearing
Mhm.
to answer that complaint and have the owners come before the board to answer that, then he would inform the applicants that they have to come back to us, and then they'd have to get a hold of Deb to set up a meeting and stuff.
Is that the kind of thing that we'd only really be able to act on within the year, or is that something that we could act on for, indefinitely?
Well, with the zoning enforcement officer, he could it could be 5 years from now that they get a complaint that, you know, the trucks are parking out front, they're not, you know. And he
Okay.
can say, well, you're violating an order of conditions,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
either stop it,
Mhm.
or I'm gonna fine you, or I'm gonna send you back to the board, and they could, you know, rescind
Yeah.
our previous vote to allow them to have the alcoholic beverages there.
It sure does encourage the applicant to be careful and to
Mhm.
exercise good judgment and caution, because they don't want to come back to the board, you know.
Yeah, they
So
don't back up, that's
I
for
think
sure.
I think this is probably the optimal way to go about it. I mean, if they do nothing wrong, they shouldn't be burdened with coming back, and we
Right.
shouldn't be burdened with bureaucratic red
Yeah.
tape that's just not necessary.
And filling up our calendar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so would it be a waste of a condition, like, would it be a waste of time to say, even though it's already there, it's actually, it doesn't need to be written that the zoning enforcement officer could recommend them be reviewed by the board? Could we put a condition that says, you know, in the future, or, you know, if by recommendation of the zoning enforcement officer, you could be called back for a review of your application, or a review of your
Yeah,
approval?
I guess we
Would
could,
that be redundant or a waste of time to even put that in there if we could do it
no,
anyway?
I think I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
If the complaint is serious enough in the
Yeah.
opinion of the
Yeah.
building inspector, the zoning
Yeah.
enforcement officer, and if he recommends they come before review, then they'll have to come before review.
Yeah.
Because Tom gets complaints by a lot of people
Mhm.
who complain. The complaint is not
Actionable.
legitimate. They're being
Yeah.
adversarial. They want to get
Yeah.
back at their neighbor, so they
Yeah.
file a complaint so that they'll be harassed by somebody. And a lot of times Tom won't act on a complaint unless it's in writing and people identify themselves.
Okay, so it's not necessary to put it on there because he could
Don't forget too, the Board of Selectmen have the right to call them in for any violations of their alcohol license too.
okay.
If the police get complaints that there's people walking out the door with alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
the police notify the Board of Selectmen, and they have, because I've seen them have public hearings on a liquor license in the years past, and I've seen them suspend licenses for a number of days for alcohol not being served the right way, not checking IDs or anything like that. I know Little Peach got caught once when it was Little Peach down there by the police station
Mm.
for selling alcohol before the operating hours
Mm.
and selling to underage.
Okay.
So we do have a mechanism there too.
All right. So
Okay.
the condition will be, if we get a complaint that's deemed by the building inspector serious enough to warrant a 1-year review, then
I wouldn't even put the 1 year in, because it could be a year and a half, 2 years. You know, just if there's any complaints that the building inspector deems that it should come back to the zoning board of appeals for a review, then they will have to have a review.
Excuse me, Greg, I think Deb's trying to get our attention.
In my opinion, I don't believe that we can do that. I don't think that we can regulate the zoning enforcement officer. I think he enforces the zoning code. If he feels that they have to come back to the board,
I think
he
you're right.
he will have them come back to the board, but I don't believe that we can condition that.
No, I don't
It
think.
sounds, it
you're
sounds like
right.
we don't have to. We don't have to condition it then.
Yeah, because that actually would be placing the condition on Tom, not on the applicant.
Right. Yeah, now that you said that, David, you're right. And I know if he saw something wrong, he would, or a complaint that he felt was
Mhm.
drastic enough to send them back to us, he would send them back.
Mhm.
All right. So next condition, liquor license hours will be designated by the Board of Selectmen, who are the licensing authority for alcohol licenses. That's pretty clear. Coolers must be locked when alcohol is not being sold and must meet any requirements issued by the select board. Pretty straightforward. All signs shall be approved by the building commissioner. There shall be no outside banners. Pretty consistent, pretty straightforward. There shall be no outside dining without prior approval of the building commission or otherwise in accordance with Chapter 88 of the Acts of 2024 to be codified at Mass General LC 40A, Section 3B, with the approval of the Select Board. I don't know, do they have any way of having outdoor seating there? I don't think there's any room on the sidewalk.
They have a bench for people to sit on while they're waiting to get a table. That's about it. But they take that in during the winter.
Yeah, so I don't think this condition applies to this restaurant. Any comment on the board on that?
That was more for like the restaurants up on Hingham
Yeah.
Street and,
Yeah, because this doesn't have any way they could really dine outside. They can
No.
sit on a bench, wait to get called to be seated, but that's a different situation. Okay, so upon the granting of the license and prior to serving any alcohol, the building commissioner and fire department must do an inspection regarding the pouring license. I guess that's pretty standard condition. The applicant, next condition, the applicant must meet the requirements of all state rules and regulations and boards and commissions in the town of Rockland. Pretty straightforward. And of course, this special permit must be recorded at the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds, and proof of recording must be filed with the building commissioner. So I think that's everything. Pretty much covers it. I can't think of anything else that's site specific to this application. Is there any board members who
I don't
have
know.
any
I don't know
other?
if they're still on here, Greg, but you have to mention about the 21-day appeal period.
Right.
And then they have to go to the town clerk and get a.
Right. But we typically
I believe that's it in there when we send. when
That
Debbie sends out the-
would be mentioned after the vote, though, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Only if it's approved.
Yeah, we didn't vote to approve it yet.
Yes,
right?
no,
So do we have any other any board have any more comments on this petition? Do I hear a motion to take a vote on it?
we already made a motion to approve with conditions.
Oh, okay. All right.
Did?
So
Yeah,
No,
no,
we didn't. No.
motion approved with conditions.
Second.
okay, Okay, all in favor, Mr. Baker Senior,
Yes.
Mr. Baker Junior,
Yes.
Mr. Galley,
Yes.
and myself as a yes. Okay. So your the petition has been granted. It's been approved with conditions. You will get a set of conditions of approval with a date stamp on it in the mail. 21 days after that date stamp, you should go to the clerk and get a certificate of non-appeal, and that if nobody has appealed it, you are to record this decision in the Registry of Deeds. So moving on to the next application. It was 28 Pine Haven Circle, and basically she was looking for a variance for the 50-foot setback. Is there any discussion among the boards on that? Oh, wait, do we have to vote to deliberate on this?
No.
Okay.
Motion to approve with conditions.
So moved. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, on the motion, actually, to you or to Deb, are there any specific findings that we have to make in order to approve this?
The standard findings to approve a variance. But she's also applying for 2 variances.
Right.
The rear and then the front.
Oh, that's right, too, the front.
But when I say specific findings, I mean, typically we're allowing, there are things we have to determine exist to vote to approve. Do you happen to know offhand what those are?
No, I don't have, I can pull up that section of the bylaw.
Shape, topography,
Let's say shape of the lot, just
I mean,
because.
I'm looking at the one that was approved back in '98. The phraseology they used was there was hardship relating to the land.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say that's true because there is a hardship. The lot shape predates zoning. The current 50-foot setback requirement it relates to lots that are significantly bigger than 10,000 square feet. This is what you call a classic postage stamp lot.
it backs up to a reservoir, so there's no houses behind it.
No, but there's no way. I mean, we get a lot of these petitions, and the house itself was built in the 50-foot setback. And if somebody wanted to put a deck on the back of their house, I mean, I can, as far as the front goes, I can't tell whether this is in the.
It's actually only gonna be a 2.6 reduction.
So
5 foot.
the front yard is 25, existing is 29.1. 29.1. So this, I don't see where they're getting front yard setback as being 29.1. I see one dimension here as 27.1. Doesn't look like 29.1.
I see.
Do you see that?
That's what I see. I see what you're
That
seeing.
that might have been a typo.
But in
It's
either
just-
case, it's still going to be over 20 feet, correct?
Well, 25 is the minimum
Right, I
According to-
understand that.
zoning chart. So anything,
Yeah,
less than 25. But yeah,
the existing porch,
one side says 27.1, but I don't know if that's the closest. Maybe the house is somewhat parallel to the front yard. But that's to the foundation. There's an existing landing to be removed.
right,
And that landing juts out almost to the same amount as the
the new one,
as the proposed. Yeah. Do you see that, Bob?
yeah,
I'm looking at there's a square that you see the square. That's
Right.
the first landing. And then there's a step beyond that, at least one other step, maybe two, which would take it out very close to being where they're at now. It's not much of a variance if it is.
no, it's only 2.5 feet, about 3 feet.
Just a point of inquiry, Bob, did your motion include both the front and the back variance requests?
Yes,
Okay. When you look at the nature of the lot and what is there and what is being sought, combined with the rationale of the reason that the petitioner is given, that they're needed for her safety. I think, which I believe is an entirely legitimate concern.
Yeah.
I think whatever requirements have to be met for this to be approved have been.
Yeah, I agree. I don't.
every
Yeah,
other house up there has got very minimal side yards.
Yeah. And the safety thing is an interesting concept because any accessibility, with related to ADA is exempt from zoning anyway. Now, this isn't an ADA accessible step, but it does offer a lot of safety. Yeah, I don't have a problem granting this variance. And I'd say I'd use this, I'd be consistent with the language of the previous relief that was granted, where what was that, Mr. Baker Jr.? Was it site constraints?
Let's see. In granting the variance, the board found that there was a hardship relating to the land, as there is no other place to put the addition.
Right.
The addition does not substantially derogate from the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw.
Yeah.
And the X amount of foot variance for the setback is not detrimental to the public good. I think, assuming that's still what the bylaw says, I think it's as applicable now as it was back then.
I agree. And I would also, offer that, the relief is minimal and it offers, an element of safety to the owner. Does that sound reasonable? Do you agree with that? I mean, because it's accessible. She doesn't have to, she can go from her garage and not walk upstairs. She can go
Right.
right in. She's not gonna have snow and ice getting into her, from her car to her house, into her house.
We did get an email today from Allison too.
Mhm.
The town planner.
Yeah, I saw that. She was in favor of it.
Yes. The application is for a one-story, one-vehicle garage to protect the resident from seasonal elements and to create a landing space front porch for exterior access safety. The parcel is small, however, the relief required from 415.22 and 415.28 is minimal. This application is consistent with a very low to no impact to abutting parcels. I mean, the town planner looked at it and she didn't feel it was a safety issue or an overburdening to the neighbors.
Which, leaving aside the fact that that's a determination we're supposed to make.
Right. Yeah, it just said it was her comments. It didn't say if she was for or against it. She was just,
Well, when she described it as minimal and then used the other terminology, which are things that would go in our findings. Well, I'm getting back to the discussion we had at the last meeting, and I'll stop on that now.
that's why I rely on your thoughts and
I'm
freshen
sorry?
up my comments. That's why I rely on you to freshen up my comments.
All right, so
So they
should
sound
we
good.
make a motion to approve the variances?
I made a motion to approve the two variances.
All right,
Yes.
any second?
You-
Second?
Seconded by Mr. Galley. All right, roll call vote. All in favor of approving the variances? Mr. Baker Senior,
Yes,
Mr. Baker Junior,
Yes,
Mr. Galley,
Yes.
myself is a yes. Okay, so that's a vote. I don't think we have to act on anything else on this.
you gotta let them know about the 21 days.
Yeah, okay, so the variance was approved 4-0 in favor. You will be receiving a decision in the mail that will have a date stamp on it. 21 days after that date stamp, go over to the town clerk, make sure that you've got a certificate of no appeal. If no one has appealed it, take the decision to the registry of deeds and have it recorded. And you'll have to provide proof of that recording to the building department when you apply for your building permit. All right. So I guess if there's any other discussions, we can take a roll call vote to adjourn the meeting.
so
Motion,
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Seconded by Mr. Baker Senior. All in favor, Mr. Galley,
Yes.
Mr. Baker Senior,
yes.
Mr. Baker Junior,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Very good,
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Good
Good
night,
luck.
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Night.
Good night, Deb. Thank you for all your help.
Night, Deb.
Okay. Good night.